And now, First Warn 5 weather with meteorologist Matt Holliner.
5:12 this morning. I got to tell you, this is a scary forecast for what's now Tropical Storm Laura, but we don't think it's going to be a tropical storm for much longer because the only thing that's really been holding it back, there was some wind shear yesterday and then it was near Cuba, but it's moving away from Cuba and it's moving over those open waters and the wind shear is going away. So we think there's going to be a period of rapid intensification. I mean, you're going to need to be following this storm closely because we think every 3 hours we're going to have an uptick in the winds all the way until landfall. So notice later this afternoon becoming a hurricane and then a strong Category 1 hurricane and then a Category 2. Now, still some uncertainty. Again, these are all the possible locations of the center. Does it take a more western track or a more eastern track? And that ultimately will determine where it's going to make landfall. Notice, not here. But Texas very much in play. The cone keeps getting skinnier and skinnier, which always happens with time, but there is still uncertainty. And this is way too close for comfort in Houston. And remember that this could still shift. We could see later today if the models trend a little bit more west. So far they are. We could see Houston go back into the cone. Notice Galveston is. Landfall in Galveston is a real possibility, but it could also happened still in Louisiana. Louisiana's still in play. But remember, yesterday we said it could be as far east as Baton Rouge. That's no longer the case. So we've kind of narrowed the cone now between Lafayette and Houston. So if the worst impacts right now looking like places like Beaumont and Lake Charles, and we're talking about devastating impacts because look at this, a Category 3 with 115-mile-per-hour winds at landfall. Devastating storm surge, devastating winds, especially right along the coast of Sabine Pass. A really scary forecast for that place. So folks in this area absolutely need to get out of the way. Now, once you get farther to the north, this is just going to be a tropical storm, but it's still going to be dumping a lot of rain. By the time it gets to Arkansas, wind's probably not going to be much of an issue, but there's going to be a flood threat on up into Tennessee, Kentucky, and there could still be heavy rain, even in parts of Virginia. Now, there's going to be less and less as it continues to move off and look all the way back into the Atlantic. And by the way, when is that? That's Saturday night, finally going back offshore and then on up to the northeast. But it's going to be dumping rain along its entire path. But the worst winds, of course, right along the coast and some pretty devastating storm surge, it looks like, as well, because this is going to be a large storm, which makes the storm surge even worse. Now, for us, there's a broad area of low pressure offshore. So most of the rain is going to stay offshore, but it's going to enhance the sea breeze. So we're calling for scattered showers and storms today, particularly in the early afternoon hours, partly to mostly cloudy. And like yesterday, not too bad temperature-wise, 93, not much wind, just 10 miles per hour. The best chance of rain going to be near the coast. And I think activity is going to start to pick up late this morning. I'm already going to keep a chance right along the coast for a few showers early this morning, but activity starting to pick up in the late morning, and it will continue to work west as we go through the day. But like we saw yesterday, probably less and less activity as we move west. But even out in central and western Starr County, though I think you're going to see the least, still keeping a 30% chance in there right now. And I do think heavy rain in a few spots today, but not widespread heavy rain. Now everyone looks dry tonight, just partly cloudy skies. We'll call it seasonably muggy because that's pretty close to a normal low temperature for this time of year. There's once again going to be very little wind. I mean, at times winds could be calm. So just light winds throughout the night. Now tracking our rain chances, the interesting thing is as Laura gets closer to us, our rain chances are actually going to go down, but we've got to keep them there. But because it's going to be staying just enough to our east, I've only got 20% chances for Wednesday and Thursday. And then by the time Laura moves inland, we're going to have a dry day on Friday. Another little wave of low pressure should bring rain chances back for the weekend and early next week, but certainly not a washout, 20 and 30% chances Saturday and Sunday. Michael?